Our Justice correspondent, Pete Williams, in Washington. Thank you. And let me bring in New York Congressman Charlie Rangel. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning, Jose.
How do you interpret the grand jury's decision, and what are your constituents telling you?
It's impossible to believe. You know, we are involved now, whether we talk about the Department of Justice or what happened in Staten Island, with a search for the truth. If we were just to look at this and see a half a dozen people in uniform surrounding a person of color that's saying, please don't kill me, I can't breathe, and then they go into a room, a grand jury room, and say that nobody did anything wrong, this just is a shocking thing to happen. So we're going to find out what happened in that room. But there are two big things here. First of all, we first have to admit as a country, and as a great country, that we have a problem of racism in this country. That's the long-term problem. In the short term, we have to say, if you're standing by when someone is committing a crime, whether or not you're in uniform or not, you have a moral and legal obligation to step forward. The whole idea of giving immunity to those people that was witness in a violent act doesn't make any sense at all.
And Congressman, because, and I'm thinking, you know, the president's talked about this. The mayor of New York is now bringing in 60 cameras, or 60 cops for 60 cameras. But camera really didn't make much of a difference here because we got to see it.
You bet your life. And a whole lot of white kids saying, hey, as black kids today, it could be me tomorrow. I mean, we're talking now about freedom of expression, but this is not only a constitutional right. We're talking about a moral right to live in a country without fear of being unfairly attacked, whether people are in uniform or not. And so really what I don't understand is why the spiritual community, we heard their voices during the civil rights movement, and why of their silence now, not to indict policemen, but say it's wrong in a country to look at somebody and to have a dual standard in how they're being treated because of their language, their accent, or their color. This is morally wrong. But Congressman, and the laws that we make should come from that.
You and I have spoken about this in the past. The fact is that really conversations about this, which are touchy, tough to talk about many times, don't really occur in our country, in society, until something bad happens. Where's this conversation going when something like this isn't happening? Because it's only when the conversation continues that we can get any real progress.
And where it should stop is when a kid is born. It amazes me how we can say, and no one can challenge, that when a child is born in this country or any place in the world, it has no idea who to hate, who to discriminate against, or which color is popular and which color is not. And it is us that makes people like this, and we have to admit that it's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a saying, I guess, children are parents' message to a future they will not see. Well, what's the future we're bringing up in our children?
Well, one thing, we can't point fingers at other countries and ignore the fact that we have a problem here. Can we overcome it tomorrow? No, it's going to take a long time because it's hard to explain how we could take human beings, treat them like animals, and have them as slaves. And it took a long time even to get to the point that we recognized that we had civil rights and voting rights. And so it's going to take some time, but you cannot win this thing from a moral standpoint unless you admit that you have this problem. And so I'm hopeful that as we see mixed people coming out saying this is wrong, that we will find, too, police officers and others saying, don't put me there, because we know that we can't live without the dedication and the courage of law enforcement people and the risks that they take. But when they stand by and see among themselves people that are violating people's human rights, they should be made to stand up and to say that is the wrong thing to do.